There we are. And then let me pull this up. All right. So, like always, usually it's Tim's fault, but today it's mine. We run a little behind today, but that's okay. That's okay. Tim, you are going to be tomorrow. You're going to be at the. Is it Regal? I don't want to.
Regal Cinemas in Nitro. Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be Great Escape, and they got bought out a few years ago, and they've never changed their marquee, so it still says Great Escape, but officially it's Regal. So
okay. Well, Tim will be at the Regal tomorrow night to watch Doctor Strange. I need to get out myself and watch it as well, but I got to work, and we already got a comment here. Let's see. Rusty Huddle says, "I'm here now, ready to give the play." As Rusty Huddle says. Just kidding. He says, "I'm out, guys. Want to watch the movie?" So,
no spoilers.
No spoilers, by the way. No Doctor Strange spoilers. So, yeah, Tim and I are going to talk about Doctor Strange. Also, want to take a few minutes too before we get out of here. To have you seen the thing about Dave Chappelle where he was attacked on stage?
Yes,
crazy.
We can talk about that a little bit. Actually, I mean,
yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. So, as most people know, many comic book fans, Marvel fans, just people who like movies in general, the new the Doctor Strange sequel is coming out. Is it tonight or tomorrow?
Actually, tonight. The preview is tonight, and then it actually officially opens up tomorrow.
Okay. So it comes out tonight, the preview, and officially opens up tomorrow. And if you are a comic book fan, you are very familiar with Doctor Strange. If you're just the casual fan, he's the guy with the cape and the Infinity Stone, and that showed up in Avengers Infinity War. So if you haven't watched Doctor Strange, the actual Doctor Strange standalone movie by now, go watch it. I think that you'll like him a lot. He's a very good character, very interesting character. Benedict Cumberbatch, if I'm saying that correctly, plays a phenomenal Doctor Strange. So if you haven't watched it already, watch the standalone Doctor Strange and then go see the Multiverse of Madness.
He actually has the perfect hair for the role, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he actually looks. Marvel did a good job of casting him as Doctor Strange. Yeah, did a good job of casting Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Really, they couldn't have done a better job.
Speaking of, there's a rumor that Iron Man's going to be in this, and played by none other than, Tom Cruise.
You know what? I've been seeing that going around that Tom Cruise is going to be Iron Man in the multiverse. The one thing that I did catch, and I've been kind of watching the trailer. I can't break them down like many people do on YouTube. They frame by frame and all that stuff. I got to eat and sleep and pet the cats and all that other stuff. But the one thing that I did notice yesterday, and actually I was a little disappointed. I posted about it on Facebook and nobody commented on it.
Oh no, did I miss that one?
You did. But the one thing, if you go look at the latest trailer, I saw Captain Britain.
Yes.
I saw the Shield. He's supposed to be played by Harvey, the guy that plays Superman.
Plays Superman?
Yeah, Harvey
Dent.
No, not Harvey. not Harvey Dent. If Harvey Dent gets another character, then Billy D. Williams is still getting paid, but crazy contract. No, is it Harvey? Let me look this up.
Who's plays Superman?
Harvey, is it Keitel or something like
Keitel?
that?
No, he's too old to be playing Captain Britain.
Hold on, let me pull it up here. I didn't mean to say Harvey Keitel. Who's the guy that played Superman?
Tom Welling?
No, let me pull this up real quick here. I got the picture of him.
While Melvin's doing that research, let me tell you all a little something. Not only am I going to go see Doctor Strange tomorrow night, but I'm actually bringing Third Floor Comics over to Regal Cinemas, setting up a small display. And the first 100 people so that show up to say hi to me, I'm giving this free comic book day, free comic book for everybody.
Very
Great
nice.
thing about this, it is the first appearance of Black Panther's daughter. So
Oh,
every first 100 people that show up gets a free comic book.
very nice. Very nice. I'll have to put that on the um go back afterwards and put it on the thing there. I like it. I like it. I might have to. I'll make a special trip there to get a comic book and maybe a sandwich or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, get some
Henry
price popcorn.
Henry
Henry
Cavill.
Cavill.
Cavill, yes. Supposedly,
Really?
I've been looking that he's supposed to be Captain Britain,
He'd be a
but
good Captain Britain. He's got the physique. He's got the accent.
mhm. But like I said, if you look in the newest trailer, it's actually on Facebook. I caught it on Facebook. There's a close up. You see the shield, the cap. You see the shield, and then you see the British flag on the shield. So obviously, Captain Britain's going to be in it. We already know that Professor X is going to be in it. I thought that was kind of odd, though, because diehard people, they're going to recognize Patrick Stewart's voice. In the very first trailer, you could hear his voice. We all knew who it was. Patrick Stewart, he adamantly denied it, doing interviews that he was going to be in Doctor Strange. Then in one of the newer trailers, it actually shows the wheelchair moving across the floor. I'm like, come on, at least, let us be shocked when we actually see it with our own eyes. You know what I mean? A voice is one thing, but give us a little mystery. But
You know what we all want to see, don't you? What we really want to see, we want to see the claws. We want to see the Wolverine pop up in here somehow.
that's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested in to see how many other of the X-Men will show up in Doctor Strange. We know that Professor X is there. We see the scene in the trailer where they're in the Xavier's mansion. So it's hard to tell how many cameos are going to be there. Do you think that Wolverine's going to show up? Do you think that Hugh Jackman's going
Do
to
I hope he is? Yes. Do I think he will? No. I did catch a bit of a review last night, and the guy was basically saying, I love the movie, but it didn't quite live up to the anticipation and hype that it's been leading up, that's been kind of put out for it. Because it's a good movie to build a foundation on for this next for the multiverse part, but it kind of left him wanting in the cameo part. So I don't think we're going to see as much as we want to see. Like I want to see Man Thing, I want to see Wolverine, I want to see all kinds of little small cameos.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to happen. I think they're going to leave us wanting for more. It's going to be like a barbecue chip, I think. You're going to get just enough seasoning to want to get the next chip in your mouth, but not enough seasoning to really satisfy that craving of barbecue sauce.
Especially Snyder's barbecue chips.
Yeah.
Especially Snyder. We do know that just in the trailer that Professor X is going to be in it. You can see Captain Marvel. You can clearly see that she's in it. And then, of course, you have Wanda, the Scarlet Witch. Now, I'm not sure to the left of her. I'm not quite sure who that is.
I think that's Miss Marvel.
You're right. Yes, because isn't there a Miss Marvel show?
Yes.
I believe it's on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm glad that you said that. It didn't dawn on me who that was. So that's got to be Miss Marvel. Of course, Rachel, I believe her name McAdams. She reprises her role, and we're going to see Wong. Wang, is it Wong or Wang? Wong. And then I can't remember the one guy from the first one where he tells Strange at the end, the black dude. He tells him at the end, because Strange messed with time. And he told him there's gonna be consequences for that. He's back.
Yeah.
He's back, and of course, Captain Britain. I did see the shield, so I'm not crazy. He's going to be in it. Let me see here.
His first appearance will jump pretty significantly, I'd say.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious of how quickly they're going to let everything out. I think I wouldn't be shocked. It's one thing if Hugh Jackman doesn't show up. I wouldn't be shocked if we if we do see, I can't remember their first. I remember Famke Janssen or Johnson, however you say her name. He played um, Jean Grey.
Mhm.
I think she'll be in there. I think Cyclops will be in there. Um, Probably, I would say there's probably mutants in the mansion that really have never been on screen, and you just got to know who they are just by
Mhm.
looking at them. So it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it opens up a lot. There's been talks about what them redoing X-Men.
Mhm.
I know that they're redoing Fantastic Four.
Thank God.
I saw something the other day. It wasn't Michael B. Jordan. It was I think it was the guy that played Mr. Fantastic in the reboot. He
In the
talked to
remake or the first one?
the remake, the one that came out 5 or
Wait,
6 years ago.
what was
Something
that kid's name? I don't remember. I think
he,
he's in Maze Runner too.
yeah. He talked about how awful it was. He actually acknowledged how awful it was. You know something's really, really bad when you acknowledge how awful it is while you're still young in the industry. It's one thing when
Yeah.
you're in your 50s and 60s and you've done 50, 60 movies, and at that point, you alone can't do any wrong because of your name, unless you murder somebody, commit a crime, But when you're still young and you actually bash a movie that you've been in, that kind of rubs filmmakers and other people the wrong
No,
ways.
there's nothing redeeming with it about that film whatsoever. I've watched it one time. Just have not any desire to go back and watch it again.
It started out good, and then it just went all downhill from there. And the Doctor Doom mask was the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life.
They've just.
It was bad.
I don't know why they can't get that movie straight or that story straight with those characters. I mean, they've got a great basis for it. They've got years, decades of good storylines to follow through with it. They've got a solid history in the Marvel Universe, and they still can't get those characters right for the life of anything.
And
I don't understand it.
Well, the sad thing is that the first two, I think they got the casting right.
Mhm.
They just didn't have the story right.
Right.
And my favorite one out of all of them, I loved Michael Chiklis as the Thing, and I thought the guy that played, I thought they all were good. I especially liked the guy from Nip Tuck that played Doctor Doom. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, I think he did great.
Yeah,
It didn't seem to. The first one was better than the second one, I think.
yeah,
It just never really seemed to gel quite right.
yeah. Because they made the Silver Surfer in the second one he was just too blah. You know what I mean? He was kind of like Eeyore. He was kind of like Eeyore. Very, very blah.
That's not that character. That character's a very, pivotal character in the whole Marvel universe. He's full of action. He's full of emotion. Yet they really dulled him down as much as they could.
Yeah, absolutely.
And making Galactus a giant cloud was just a horrible idea.
Let me ask you this. So going back, and I was thinking about this today and yesterday. What was it, 2008 when Iron Man came out? I personally I've always known who Doctor Strange was, always known who he was, but I never really thought of him as not only a standalone movie, but somebody that could keep the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel that way when he was first introduced, like the very first movie?
I was excited to see him in the movies, but I didn't read a lot of Doctor Strange stuff growing up. He was always that second tier or third tier character. You see him in original Infinity Story. He shows up in it. He's there. He's an important part to play in it, but I never saw him as a major player in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And kind of like what I've liked about the MCU is they've taken a lot of the lesser tier characters, they've turned them into major characters inside the MCU and as well as comic books now. I mean, Doctor Strange has probably never been more popular than he is now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Iron Man is never more popular than what he is now.
Mm-hmm.
For that matter, Ant-Man has never been any more popular than what he is now.
Ant-Man was at the bottom of the barrel, as far as like if you were a kid and you could have picked, not now, but 80s, you could have picked any Marvel character to be. Ant-Man for me would have been at the bottom of the barrel. Because we'll just go with the Avengers. You would have wanted to be Thor, you would have wanted to be Captain America, maybe Falcon, Iron Man. Ant-Man would have never been in my mind for me to dress up as a kid.
Oh no, you might want to be Giant Man.
Yeah.
But who wants to be
Plastic Man?
Yeah. I mean, no, it wasn't that he didn't care about that character. He always played a small role in everything. And actually in the Avengers, Pym plays a big role throughout the whole Avengers history and storyline.
Yeah.
But it was never, you're right. No one ever aspired to be, Hank Pym. Or no one ever aspired to be Ant-Man or anything like that. They want to be the heavy hitters.
Yeah. I like the fact now, like you said, they take smaller characters that weren't very popular, lesser known characters, and they're giving them their own platform and making them big. I think it's phenomenal, just with Doctor Strange alone, how they little by little they've made him bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you put him in the Spider-Man movie, and you really just make people say, I got to see more of this guy. I think putting him in Spider-Man movie makes people who didn't see the first one want to see this one.
Well, what they've really done is they've actually taken their marketing strategy, which from the comic book days, and they've applied that to the movie industry as well as anyone could really hope for. I mean, they've taken the ensemble cast, like for the Avengers comic book, the story never really focused in on one character all that much.
Yeah.
But eventually each character had either a miniseries or something that tied into the bigger story. They did that throughout all comic book history, really. Yeah. Or if you wanted to pull Daredevil sales up, well, what easiest way to pull Daredevil sales up is if you throw Spider-Man on the front cover. Or if you want to, and they did that just in this last Spider-Man movie. They want to bring Daredevil into the MCU now. So where they put him at? They put him smack dab in the beginning of the Spider-Man film. Same with Doctor Strange. How do you pull, a B tier character into an A tier? You latch them onto an A tier character when you have the opportunity. Throw them in the cover. Throw them a glimpse in that big movie. That way, people get interested in it, or the big comic book. That way, people get interested in it. And they'll follow that character over to either their own title or something else. Yeah. Marvel's been doing it for years, so it's great they've been able to do that with the MCU. But it's not a new tactic for them. It's something they've had tried and true for years and years and years. They've made it work in the movie industry as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid. I mean, and piggybacking off what you said just now, I remember as a kid, and you're absolutely right about how you would just say Spider-Man or whatever, and on the cover they'd say something clever like, "Oh, such and such is tagging along, with Spider-Man," or will Spider-Man meet their doom, with this guy he doesn't know, and things like that. But you're absolutely right. I think that Doctor Strange is really, they've made him. I think that they've kind of bumped him up pretty close to tier 1.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, he really has gotten up there, and I think it's exciting. I think it's awesome, because the problem with comic book movies is the casual person will say, "Oh, I'm just sick of it." They got the Avengers. But if you give them something interesting outside of that, they'll keep it going. The only problem is that when they watch it, well, who is that? Why are they there? Why did that happen? And then they're gonna have to go back and watch other stuff. Like why is Wanda Maximoff in this movie? They'll have to find out where she's from, what she's doing, how she got there, how she got her powers, and things like that. But it's I hate to quote Tony Stark, but it's part of the journey.
Wow, Wow.
It's part of the journey, you know.
You know, something that I've liked about what the MCU's done with their character selection. They've taken these characters that they're really recognizable from the 70s. I mean, Doctor Strange to me always had that psychedelic kind of look to the covers.
Mm.
You know, he's always got his hands up doing the crazy thing like that, and you got starburst coming out of his hands. And they took the Thor character, and Thor for me was big in the 70s because he just had that, again, had that kind of mystical psychedelic thing going on with him. You know, you'd read a Thor comic book, and it didn't read like anything else you read because it was all written in this pseudo Old English kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
But it had that kind of psychedelic thing going on the backside too for me. And I like that they've taken those characters, they've pulled them into the, not the 90s, but the 2000s. They've updated them, but they kind of hold on to that psychedelic, that psychedelic background a little bit too. I mean, like the last Thor movie was absolutely the best Thor movie that's come around, and it really played up on that psychedelic feel, I think.
Oh, especially with what's his name?
Especially with the Zeppelin soundtrack too. I mean, like, wow, that nails the whole intro of that movie. Is like,
yeah,
I was locked in. And I think Doctor Strange, what movie, what song did they pick up for that?
Oh,
I don't know. There was one other Marvel movie like that. The soundtrack one was just like, wow, I've never thought about that song for this at all, but it worked. And Guardians is another one. I mean, the whole soundtrack for Guardians was just, it made the movie. If it would have been scored by by Elfman or one of the classical composers, I don't think it would have had the same punch to it as, picking out pop culture music that we can all relate to as a kid and giving it to us in a different format slightly with a different storyline behind it.
Tim said AC/DC Iron Man 2.
Yeah, exactly.
We even in the first Avengers when they go to face Loki for the first time there, and Iron Man comes down jamming to AC/DC, and he takes over the sound system of the jet. The music in Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, it really puts you in the mood, and it really makes you think about stuff, and it really makes you feel like a kid.
Yeah.
You have memories of those songs, and some, depending on how old you are, you remember what you were doing when the song was actually, on the radio, and it brings back memories. It makes you feel good, is what it does. Makes you feel good. I'll go ahead.
I think on some of the boards I'm on, I guess, I don't know what to call it, hardcore fans. I don't really know them that well, but there's a lot of comments that, they didn't like Thor because the sound, basically they made it a funny movie. It put too much comedy in it. Or they didn't like Guardians because there was too much comedy in it. They didn't like that aspect of it. But I think that's what really has pushed the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor especially into popularity, is they've been able to grab onto the soundtracks, add some humor to the story so it's not so dark and heavy at all times, and push it forward. And I think the majority of people really like that kind of formula.
Yeah, because honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't cross the line of being cartoonish. There's some stuff that's just real cartoonish, real gooberish. But for me, those movies don't cross that line. I like the fact that, like you said, Thor, well, they all had some comedy for the most part, but Thor became comical because really, if you took the comedy away from Thor, what do you have? A guy that is always serious and walking around like he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't want that.
You have the Batman, wouldn't you?
Yeah, honestly.
Batman, good film, but that really melodramatic Nirvana soundtrack just kind of it wears on you after a while.
Yeah, it makes you want to
eat a bullet,
sit and cry. Sit and cry, and maybe eat a whole box of Hot Pockets while watching Lifetime or something. I don't know, but you're absolutely right. The Batman, though it was good, it honestly, it is not something that I can sit down in my home and ever sit down for 3 hours and watch that again. I'd have to watch it in chunks. We'll do 30 minutes today. We'll try to get 45 tomorrow. It's just it was just too much.
I went back and watched it again last week, and enjoyed it a lot more at home watching it than I did watching it inside the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by the time I got to the final act in the theater, I just want to go home. I want, I like Nirvana,
Right.
I like the story, but I just wanted to. I had this feeling of just forbearance or for whatever is melancholy mood that was surrounding me. I just want to get out of the theater. I mean, it's dark. I don't know anybody in here. This is scary. Nothing good is going to happen.
Well, you know what, too? I'm sure one thing that probably came into play for that for you is the fact that you've had two other generations of Batman to really look at this film and critique it. And because I went to when you go back to the 1989 Tim Burton Batman and I don't want to use the word magic. The feeling, the emotion that you got for seeing Batman dressed in black, being the Dark Knight, and it was just huge. And then you had Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. It goes back to me telling a guy years ago when the Dark Knight came out, and I was trying to tell him, hey, the 89 Tim Burton Batman, for your soul, for your comic book soul, was bigger than this Batman. The Dark Knight was a better movie, but the experience and the feeling and the generational, hey, this belongs to me, was bigger because it was the first time we ever saw the Dark Knight. So yeah, but Guardians of the Galaxy is supposed to come out soon. They're actually, I think I saw on Instagram that they are filming, because I'm sure it took some time because they had to go and do the fourth Thor, and then you got to roll into the third installment of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So that should be out sometime this year.
The fourth Thor starts. I think comes out in October.
I believe so.
And I'm really looking forward to that movie, probably more so than Doctor Strange. I mean, it's based on Thor: God of Thunder storyline, which is really dark, super dark. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they add some comedy to it, because the original storyline, there's no comedy in it whatsoever. I mean, it's just a really dark story. But I'm really looking forward to that movie. So
yeah, me too. And I'm kind of wondering now. I'm interested to see in Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't think of his name. I actually posted on Facebook a couple weeks ago. The guy from, the only thing I know him from is the movie We're the Millers. He played Kenny. The boy.
They got him all beefed up playing
Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. I'm also excited to see too how they're going to do the whole Gamora thing. How they're going to reintroduce her.
Here's some food for thought. How many B-tier actors has Marvel brought to the MCU and completely roided them out and buffed them out?
Yeah. No, I never watched The Office. I'm sorry. I know that I'm a bad person. But years down the road, I am familiar with the people that have come from that show, because they've become pretty big in movies, like Ed Helms. And, of course, I knew Steve Carell from watching The Daily Show. I used to be a Comedy Central junkie. I loved The Daily Show, even when it was with Craig Kilborn, but especially when it was with Jon Stewart. So I was always familiar with Steve Carell. But, you had Ed Helms and Steve Carell. And Chris Pratt, he came from, what was it, Parks and Recreation?
Parks and Rec, yeah.
Yeah, and he essentially was a nobody. And he gets the role of
Star-Lord, yeah.
And he got buffed up.
He
got beefed up, and a lot of them, really, if you look at it this way, really the only ones that were A-level was, of course, Robert Downey Jr.
He was on A level, but on the downside of it.
He was. What would you say? He was grandfathered in. How about that?
He was A level at one time, but he was definitely on the downside of his on a down curve of his career when they cast him as Iron Man, I think.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he was grandfathered in from the '80s, and then
Mhm.
in the '90s, in the '80s too. He hit the unfortunately hit the drugs hard. So, but other than him, even going outside of the Avengers, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen was big,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't big to me because this was all before Lord of the Rings and
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So he was big overseas, over in Britain, but over here to me, as just a casual fan, I didn't know who he was. But Patrick Stewart by far was huge. I would say Patrick Stewart, Halle Berry, and see, Halle was kind of, her name is A list, but
Mm-hmm.
her resume is on the B level.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart, kind of the same thing. His name is A list,
Yeah.
but his resume was B. I mean, outside of Star Trek Next Generation, really.
Yeah, he was in King Arthur from back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know him in anything. Didn't recognize him in anything before Star Trek, and really after Star Trek. It's like he's known for Star Trek and Professor X.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, he's a a stage actor with a huge resume, I guess, from that aspect of acting.
Mm-hmm.
But the casual fan's not going to recognize him from anything else.
Yeah. I mean, really, probably. And I'm not looking at the level of greatness when I say this. Movie wise, outside of Robert Downey Jr., maybe Halle Berry. And I'm not counting Samuel L. Jackson, because he by far is the biggest, the biggest person in Marvel. Samuel L. Jackson, name recognition, and movie wise. Would you say that Paul Rudd, just a collection of films and television?
Speaking of strictly the MCU, and that kind of excludes the X-Men franchise and Fantastic Four franchise, because both those are through Universal Fox. And excluding Spider-Man, because that's through Sony. But just strictly the Marvel created stuff, Disney Marvel created films.
Yeah.
Would
you say Paul Rudd after Samuel L. Jackson? And why is there a Facebook user with
I don't know.
That's Pat Stewart.
Again, Tim still brings up Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, again, sticking with the Marvel films. Ryan Reynolds is more the Fox side of it, because the X-Men side. Because Marvel, they didn't create the MCU with mutants in mind. They created with the Avengers and moving forward from that story arc. Robert Downey Jr., of course, is grandfathered in. But who else from the Avengers he had that really had a big name? Chris Evans, a little bit.
I mean, Chris Evans, outside of Fantastic Four, and I think outside of Fantastic Four, for me, his biggest thing was not another teen movie.
Yeah. Then moving into probably Paul Rudd. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Angela Jolene and Angela, what's her name in the Eternals. I mean, she's a big name. Well, she was a big name 20 years ago.
Well,
her star's starting to fade somewhat.
What? Yeah, her, and then maybe let's see. She's what I got to put her up there with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But let's replace her. Let's replace her with Selma Hayek.
Yeah. Now, Tim brings a good point. Kurt Russell and Anthony Hopkins, both huge names, both huge actors with impressive resumes, but not recurring characters either. They're not characters they keep bringing back. They're bringing them in as a villain heavy for one or two movies.
Chad, that's freaking me out. Facebook user, Facebook user, where's your face? Where's your name? Are you a creeper?
I don't know.
Chad Boswick. He had big. I mean, like big. Matter of fact, the movies he did outside of Black Panther,
Mhm.
to me, were bigger than Black Panther. You know, you had the Jackie Robinson movie. You had, what was the other movie? He had like another athlete movie, I believe.
Hmm.
Okay, Jamal. Okay, yeah.
Who's
Okay,
Freedom Murphy?
I know who that is. I know who that is. He's a Steelers fan, by the way. He's a
Oh,
he's a great guy. He's a Steelers fan. I don't hold that against him, but great guy, great guy. What was the other movie that Chadwick did? It was a sports movie. There was the Jackie Robinson movie 42. Tim Steele says Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie.
I wouldn't
You
call
really?
him a superstar.
No. He Anthony Mackie wasn't no superstar. Anthony Mackie, before the Avengers films, he did 8 Mile with Eminem.
Was he in 8 Mile?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was in 8 Mile. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. Mekhi Phifer was the guy that was like rolling with Eminem.
Okay.
Anthony Mackie was the guy that Eminem battled in 8 Mile.
No shit.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah,
guy.
I go back and watch that.
Yeah, he says. Freedom says the banker with Samuel L. Well, Samuel L., like you said, by far he's the biggest person, the biggest star in the MCU. But you know, and like you said, Robert Downey's grandfather. Then he took about a decade and a half off. He just disappeared. But after that, I might say, I don't even know if not Samuel. I don't even know if Selma Hayek would surpass Paul Rudd. Paul did a lot of stuff. Anthony Mackie was in We Are Marshall. That's right.
Mhm.
Paul Rudd has done a lot of stuff, a lot of television, a lot of movies where he was that B character.
Yeah, he's been a career B guy, but he's been a great B guy.
He makes the joke. I heard him make the joke about how he always comes at the end of stuff. He came at the end of Friends. He came at the end of the Avengers movies.
Mhm.
But outside of that, Paul Rudd, maybe Salma Hayek. Scarlett Johansson was real young when she first did the first series. She was only like 22.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like 22, 23. Because I actually read about that, how she complained, how she didn't realize how she was being sexualized as the Black Widow because she was just so young and wanted to take the role. But he was in The Express, the movie about Ernie Davis, first black man. That's right. But there was another movie though. There was another movie that Chadwick did to where it was on the same level of like Jackie Robinson. And I can't think of what it is.
He is in a C-tier movie about a guy. I guess his sister comes to the U.S. and gets involved with the mob, something like that. And he comes comes to the U.S. trying to hunt her down. I don't remember what the name of that was.
I got it now. I had to Google it.
I don't remember.
He was in 42.
42 was good.
Get On Up was the movie about James Brown. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Get On Up. He did the movie about I think it was the Thurgood Marshall. The Express, the Jim Brown movie. That was 2008. I gotta watch that. Yeah, he was in a lot of movies. He was, but not to stray too far away. Paul Rudd, Salma Hayek. I don't count Kurt Russell just because he was in the one.
Yeah, it seems like they're bigger. They're huge names they pulled in. Like the Tim said, Kurt Russell and shoot, what's the name? Anyway, I'm drawing a blank here, but they've brought them in as the heavies. You know, they're not ongoing characters. I mean, even the Iron Man villain from the first one,
Zoe
Bridges.
not Jeff Bridges, but was it Jeff Bridges?
I think it's Jeff Bridges.
The you earlier you were thinking about who's
Sons of Lambs. What's his name?
uh,
Josh Brolin is a good one.
but even he though he's done. You have to move him past Paul Rudd and Salma Hayek as far as his accomplished roles, because Josh Brolin's done a lot of big movies.
He was Jonah Hex. Done in the story.
Yeah. So we gotta move Josh Brolin past Paul Rudd and Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson doesn't count. Robert Downey's grandfather then. I was trying to think what was Catherine Zeta Jones' husband, Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas doesn't count. Michael Douglas doesn't count.
Again, one or two movies that play a big role. He's more of a supporting role than he is anything else.
But the rest of those guys, they were relatively unknowns. Even Tom Holland was an unknown. He'd done some films, but he was an unknown. Chris Evans was an unknown. He'd done some films. His biggest claim to fame for me was playing the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four.
Snowpiercer.
Fantastic movie he's in. And Not Another Teen Movie, which is a fantastic movie, by the way. I'm not even making that up.
I've never seen it. I gotta go back and watch that one.
It's very, 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 very strange, very corny.
I'm on the last season of Ozark right now. Okay, so
but the rest of them, the guy that played Vision, never heard of him in my life before.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he's in A Knight's Tale.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Paul, I can't pronounce his last name. Bellamy or something like that.
I didn't even know that Wanda Maximoff was a Olsen twin until like a couple years after the film. I just got curious. So let me Google who that is, and I said, "Holy cow! That not an Olsen twin, but an Olsen sister." Excuse me.
Oh,
yeah, her sisters are Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
No shit.
See, even you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, her sisters are the Olsen twins from Full House. She's
old joke. My old joke was that, if when everyone plays the star game, which star would you like to, if you could be with the star? Mine was always Mary Kate and Ashley because they count as one, right?
You were one of those goobers that watched the countdown till they turned 18 on the internet. Paul Bettany.
Bettany.
Yeah, Tim says
Knight's Tale is his best film still yet.
Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah. Yeah, she's the younger sister. She's only like 28. She's the younger sister to the Olsen twins. Yeah, she's very, very young, very, very young. But the rest of those guys, they were nobody. But actually, because I know you got to go because you got your. You sent me the link. I accepted it, by the way. For the actually, I would say the most under the radar star in the MCU, the most under the radar star that nobody ever notices because he's behind the camera also is John, how do you say his name? Favreau. Yes.
I think you're absolutely right on that because he's a great actor.
And he's been in a lot of stuff.
A lot of B-tier stuff, a lot of just side roles, a lot of buddies in buddy movies. Mm-hmm. But he is a great actor.
What was the film he was in with Vince Vaughn in the late 90s? There was like 4 or 5 guys in the movie. And it was big for that time. It was like a cult movie. I can't think of what it was. Let me look it up real quick.
Tim mentions the movie Chef, which is absolutely a fantastic movie. I believe he's got the lead role in it. Swingers?
Yeah, Swingers.
Tim wouldn't know that one.
Yeah, Tim wouldn't know that. Let me pull it.
Tim's employee that has upside down pineapple at his workstation.
Let me run through this list real quick before you go because I know you got to go. You got your. Let me hold on. Let me hold on. I fail this every 2 weeks. The Thursday, thrifty
Thursday Facebook sale.
The Thrifty Thursday Facebook sale. Just real quick before you go, let me give you guys an example of what Jon Favreau's done. Chef, The Mandalorian, The Lion King 2019, Iron Man 2, The Jungle Book 2016, Spider-Man No Way Home, Swingers 1996, Elf 2003. He was on Friends, The Book of Boba Fett, Daredevil 2003, of course, Iron Man 3, Couples Retreat, Spider-Man Far From Home, The Chef Show, The Replacements, The Wolf of Wall Street, Rudy, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Zathra, I don't know what that is, 2005, Batman Forever, The Sopranos, Spider-Man Homecoming, The Breakup, Avengers, I Love You, Man, and it just goes on and on and on and on. Cowboys and Aliens, which actually
Great
like.
film. Great film.
It gets a lot of heat for being bad. I think what maybe Harrison Ford really didn't receive it too well.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. Deep Impact, Made, The Four Christmases, Rocky Marciano, 1999. Something's Got to Give, PCU, which I can't help you on that one. But there's a
bad football film.
Yeah, he's done so much stuff. King of Queens, I don't know what he was on there for. Maybe a writer, I'm not sure. But he's done a lot of stuff.
You know, you mentioned The Replacements. I just watched that maybe for the first time this past weekend, and now it became the guy that he plays in that. I recognize him. I couldn't put two and two together who he was, but when you said that, it kind of clicked exactly who he played in that movie.
Oh, he was the dumb dude.
Yeah,
he was the dumb guy. He was the lineman. Yeah, he was that big idiot that would fight anybody that didn't know what in the world was going on. Yeah, Jon Favreau was that guy.
Now, speaking of big actors that came to the Marvel U, and coming back to Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch his star was definitely rising when he took that role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd already been in.
He was doing what, like Sherlock Holmes and stuff.
So Sherlock Holmes, he's known for that. He just did the mathematical films like that, but the British Codebreaker.
Wow,
I can't remember the name of that one, but I mean, his star was definitely on the rise when he took that role as Doctor Strange.
Oh, he's definitely
the Dragon, Smog.
Yeah, don't go after anyone in red. He's definitely huge now. Tim, did you want to plug you're giving away what was it again, the comic book?
Yeah, let me plug a few things real quick. First of all, tomorrow night at Regal Cinemas in Nitro, Third Floor Comics will be set up, and the first 100 people that show up will get a free comic book. It's actually from Free Comic Book Day this year, which hasn't happened yet, so you can get one actually before Free Comic Book Day. First appearance of Black Panther's daughter is in that. That's tomorrow night at Regal Cinemas. Come up after that. No, tonight we have the Thrifty Thursday Facebook sale.
Hold on. Thrifty
Thursday. I'm going to make Melvin one of these shirts. Facebook sale.
Facebook sale. There we go.
This goes from 8 to 9:30 on the Facebook page titled Thrifty Thursday.
Thrifty Thursday Facebook sale. And as always with the plug, if you haven't already, be sure that you go and like the thing. Let me pull it up here. Let me find it. I need a picture. I'm gonna take a picture of the Thrifty Thursday thing too. If you haven't already, be sure to go and like the Third Floor Comics Facebook page, where he does auctions there as well. There's also let me hide that there, the Nitro Antique Mall page that you can go there as well and check out some cool stuff. And was there one more?
Well, we have the Sports Corner auction coming up on Monday, which is the Sports Corner at Nitro Antique Mall for all your favorite sports cards and sports memorabilia.
No, will this be live on Facebook or?
Yeah.
All right. So the Sports Corner. Let me plug that real quick here. The Sports Corner.
Too much going on.
I'm not much the typist, and where I have my laptop like right here in front of me, I got to stretch out. So, all right. So again, come check Tim out tomorrow at the Regal Cinemas in Nitro. He'll be giving out a comic book to the first. What was it? Was it the first 1,000 people?
First 100 people.
The first 100 people. Okay, I was off by 0. First 100 people. Judgment Day. He's gonna give that out to first 100 people. Go check it out. I haven't read this
yet, but it's got everybody in it. There's Captain Britain. There is the X-Men. There is the Avengers. There's the Eternals.
They're trying to tell you something. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch Doctor Strange. All right.
First layout there.
Yes. All right. Well, we will see you guys in a couple weeks. And again, be sure to check out the Thrifty Thursday sale coming up here at 8 o'clock. I got to work on that still. I work on it every week in my sleep. And be sure to go follow that page. Be sure to go follow the uh, um, Nitro Comics. Gosh, doogity dog. There we go. The third
There
floor
it is.
page. The third floor comics page. I'm trying to cut back on my cursing. And the Nitro Antique Mall page.
So you have a jar there?
Yeah, actually, what I do is I got a cup of cat food, and I eat a handful every time I say a curse word. So
I have like a cat of nine tails every time you curse, you just throw your back.
yeah,
I
exactly.
won't cuss anymore. I won't cuss anymore.
Right. I no. What I do is if I catch myself cussing, I watch 10 minutes of the new Batman film. Is what I do. I do need to go. We can talk about it later. I do need to go and watch the last episode of Moon Knight. So
I haven't seen it yet either. I watched episode 4 last night. So I gotta catch 5 and 6.
Yeah, you got it. 5 is real trippy. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I think you would like it a lot. It's it answers a lot of questions. So,
4 definitely felt like the Mummy.
Yeah. It honestly did. So it's kind of odd how every episode really is just different. So I'm kind of curious how episode 6, if it's all just gonna come all together and just I don't know. So we shall see. We shall see. Let me see here. This comment.
You shut up, Tim Steele.
What is Tim Steele?
He said it sucks. Last 2 sucked.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's what he's a Bengals fan. I mean, that's you should be used to sucking. You sucked in the Super Bowl. I'm just joking. Tim's gonna get mad next time I come in there. He's gonna be fired up, and I'll probably get hit with something when I walk in the door. So, but we will catch you guys here in a couple weeks. And as always, thank you for joining in and hanging out with us and commenting and responding and all that good stuff. And we will see you in a couple weeks. Don't forget the Regal Cinemas tomorrow in Nitro. What time?
I'll be there from 5 to 8. So.
Tim will be there from 5 to 8 tomorrow. The Regal Cinemas in Nitro. Get your free. The first 100 people there to go meet Tim and see Doctor Strange will get a free comic book. And don't forget about the Thrifty Thursday sale going on at 8 o'clock tonight. Be sure to follow that Facebook page and check it out. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. All right, Tim, say goodbye.
See you guys.